Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute Christmas pudding cupcake toppers. Okay, so to begin with, I've got 40 grams of brown modelling paste. This is the modelling paste that I've coloured brown using Colour Mill food colours, and I'll leave a link to everything that I've used in this tutorial in the description so you can take a closer look later. So as I said, I've got 40 grams of paste, I've kneaded it until pliable, and now I've rolled it into a ball shape, which you can see here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently flatten the ball with the palm of my hand and then just keep rotating it as well to keep the round shape. So we're doing this because we want to try and get a little 3D effect with the pudding. So we're not rolling it out so it's flat, we still want the curved edges. So I'm just doing it very gently until I get the shape that I want and the size I want. So now I'm just flattening the bottom a little bit. There we go. So you can see I've just flattened the bottom, and then if you want to, you can just point the top a little bit and just put it a little bit thinner at the top so you get more of that 3D effect. So you just keep going until you've got a Christmas pudding shape that you like. You can just see how thick it is there. It is thick, but it does give you the nice 3D effect. So if you were to make more in one go, it's a really good idea just to pop one next to you so you make sure you get the similar size and shape. So what I did with those is I just popped them underneath a bit of cling film while I made the topping. Okay, so to make the topping, I use my wavy edge cutter. You can see it's got a nice wavy edge there. You could use a fluted cutter if you had one. I've just got some white modelling paste that I've kneaded till pliable. I'm just going to roll it out to about 5mm thick. You don't want to go too thin. I'm just going to show you the thickness there. So it's a good idea before you cut out your shape to make sure that it's not stuck underneath, and then just cut out your shape, press down and move it around to get a nice clean edge. So you can take away the excess and then pop out my paste. So this will do 2 puddings. So I'm just going to cut it in half, and then you can pop that under the cling film with the brown part of the pudding just so it doesn't dry out. So I'm just using my rolling pin just to push out and distort the shapes a little bit, the curved bits at the front there, because these are the drips. And now what we're going to do is just gently pull them out. And this is why it's thicker, because it gives us the thickness to pull out and to change the shape and size and all sorts. So we've got some variety of drips. So just pull it out, pinch it to make it smaller, pull it to make it longer. You can do all sorts. And the good thing about this is that you make each pudding different. If you do find this tutorial useful, please do give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you. You can just pop it onto your pudding just to see what it looks like, and then you can tweak if you need to. So you want to make sure it's got a bit of thickness to give you the ability to do this. If it's too thin, you wouldn't have any paste to pull out. So you can see it's still quite thick at the top there. So you just want to thin that a little bit out, because that will be moulded around the top of your pudding and then trimmed away. Alright, so I'm just still forming my drips. And then you can pop it on your pudding and decide where you want it to go. You can pop it a little bit of an angle. You could tweak it a little bit more or move it over a bit. So you can see I popped it on here and I thought, oh, it looks a bit too symmetrical for me. So what I decided to do was pick it up and just move it over a little bit. And I preferred it there. So once you're happy, you can just gently mould it around your pudding. If you need help with it sticking, you can use a little clear alcohol or an edible glue. So just gently mould it all the way around your pudding. And then once you think it's ready and how you want it to be, just use a knife just to gently trim away the excess. Leave a little bit over so you can tuck that around the back. I'm just going to take a little bit more away. Very carefully. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is just going to pick up my pudding and then just gently coat that around the back. Again, if you have any problems with the sticking, just use a little edible glue or clear alcohol. Mine was okay apart from that one drip there on the left, so I decided to use a little bit of glue just to help stick that into place. And there we go. That's my first pudding made. Okay, so now I'm going to add like the currants and things, and I've got some black and darker brown modelling paste. I'm just going to use my ball tool just to go around and create some little holes, some deeper than others, some bigger than others, just so I get a nice variety. And don't forget to go around the sides and underneath as well. So once I've done that, I'm just going to grab some tiny bits of the dark brown and black modelling paste and pop them into these holes. I'm not getting a particular size because I want them to be all different. I'm not forming them into balls because I want them to have a different shape. And I'm just going to pop them in there and use the ball tool to help secure. Again, I'm not using glue because if I want to change my mind, it's really hard to take them out. But if you need to, you can. So you just pop them in every single hole that you've made. And then what you can also do, you can also tweak the shape by just rubbing it a little bit with a ball tool if you think they all look too uniformed. And that will tweak the shape as well. So I'm just going to pop that into the bottom there. That's one of my last ones. And there you go. That is my pudding ready. So once you've got to this stage, if you want to tweak your puddings, now's the time. If you've distorted them a little bit, if you want to make them more uniformed or more different. But now I'm going to show you how to make the holly. And I've got a holly plunger cutter and some green modelling paste that I'm going to roll out quite thin. I'm now going to show you how to use the plunger cutter. So you push it into your paste, move it around to get a good clean cut, which you can see here. Press down to get your nice veins on your holly, and then press again to pop it out onto your foam mat. And there you can see you have some pretty holly leaves. I'm just going to show you that again. So move it around, get a clean cut, press it down to make the veins, and then press again onto the mat. So I always make a few of these, so I've got spares in case any get broken. And here you can see I'm just making some berries out of some red modelling paste. And I leave this for 5 minutes just so they have a chance to firm up a little bit before putting them onto the pudding. So firstly, just see where you want it to go on your pudding. You want to be able to see it, obviously. You put it too high up and you won't be able to see it. I think I'm going to pop it there. So I'm just going to use a little bit of clear alcohol with a very fine brush. You could obviously use a glue if you prefer. And I'm going to stick that into position there. And then again, I'm just going to make it a little bit sticky in the middle to pop the red berries. I'm going to put 3 berries in. And there we go. If you want to tweak it, you can always use a dry brush. And then lastly, I just like to give a little bit of movement in the holly using a dry brush just to push up the ends there. If you struggle with it staying up, you can always use the ball tool just to help. Just push it up and then use the brush just to help bend it a tiny bit. And that will just give you a little bit of movement in your holly. So I'm just going to do the same with my second pudding. And you can see there how different they are, and they've all got their individual character. Okay, so that's how to make the Christmas pudding cupcake toppers. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Please do check out my other ones. Please comment, like and subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.